Hello, I'm Marian O'Rourke Kaplan, and today we're going to talk about hemming a jacket that has a closed lining. The first step is you need to cut 2-inch true bias strips from hair canvas, the same hair canvas that you're using in the lapel and the shoulder support. You will cut just continuous strips of the 2-inch wide bias. When you have a jacket that has multiple seams such as this, you don't ever want to put the hem bias over the seams. You have to go up to the seam underneath. So the first thing I'm going to do is blunt off the end. And you want to place your bias 1.5 inches from your hem, so that a 1/2 inch of it will cross over that fold line. And when the hem is folded at the 2-inch mark, you will be stitching wefted fabric to wefted fabric, not hair canvas. Okay? So it'll be apples to apples at that point. So you're going to go all the way around your jacket and cut these pieces. Lift up your seam allowance and tuck it under there. Make sure that this stays at 1.5 inches all the way around. And you'll continue to do that in each section all the way until you get to the front where your hair canvas is in your facing area. Okay, so all the way to there. When that's all set up, then you're ready to sew, and you need to attach these using what's called a catch stitch. So it's like a back, cross stitch, but the term is a catch stitch. So catching the hair canvas, going from right to left, you catch the hair canvas in at about 1/8 of an inch stitch. You come up just to the edge of it and catch your jacket about 1/8 of an inch, and be very delicate in this catching. You don't want to go through to the front of your jacket. There's not going to be any pressure on this, so you don't have to worry about it falling out. So just barely catch a couple 3 threads, and in my case I'm catching just the weft. I'll show you in a second. When I turn it over, you won't be able to see any of this stitching on the face of my jacket. So you'll do this stitching across each of these sections of hair canvas all the way around the hem of the jacket. You'll do similar work in the sleeve hem, and this provides for a really beautiful edge on your jacket. It makes it nice and secure and stable, and won't allow it to stretch in pressing. So it's a really excellent tool in that regard. So you knot that off, and then you go back and do the other edge the same way. So your stitches should be about 1/8 of an inch deep, not deep, I'm sorry, wide. There should be one at the edge of the hair canvas and one about 1/4 of an inch into the hair canvas. And this spacing here is 3/4 of an inch or so. So about every 1/2 of an inch, you're going to go up here and then down here 1/2 inch further, so that it makes a nice consistent cross catch. I frequently will use this even for hemming, like if I'm making a dress and it has a regular fold-up hem, I'll use this same stitch because it holds the fabric to the face much better than just a slip stitch, and has less chance of catching on a heel or tearing out that way. Okay, so once one's done, then you go on to your next one, and you'll see that there is no visible evidence that that hair canvas is there, yet it's there, and it will support this hem when it's folded a 1/2 inch into it. It'll give you a nice stable hem. The next step, after you've completed all that, I'm moving to another jacket project that I have. You want to use that catch stitch. You'll fold up your hem 2 inches, and this has the hair canvas inside of it, just like that. Fold it up 2 inches. I usually give it a nice pressed, not a really hard, sharp crease, but a good steaming. And then I do the catch stitch to hem the jacket, hem allowance to the body all the way across. That step's already done in this jacket. The next thing you want to do is you've got your lining is attached to a notch that's usually 4 inches or so from the hem. There's a notch where you stop sewing your lining by machine, and from there down you're going to be doing handwork. So what you want to do is you want to get rid of this raw edge of your facing, and the easiest way to do that is to just turn it under like 1/4 of an inch. Just slip it in. Just the depth of your hem, and then you will my needle's cut to my magnet over there. Okay. And then this is what's called a slip stitch, and you'll come up into the fold so that your knot is inside the jacket and not going to be visible. And then you go straight down into your hem allowance and then come up into the fold and straight down. Don't travel with your stitches. If you travel with your stitches, they'll be visible. Okay, so come up, go back down into your hem allowance, and when you come up, don't come over here because you'll see the trail of that thread. So you want to come straight down, and it'll just disappear into your fabric. Okay, be sure you tuck in your little seam allowance here and just stitch to your outer facing, and that way the seam allowance will stay tucked under and not be visible. Make for a really clean edge. Tie it off. Couple knots. This thread matches so well I can't even see it to cut it, which is lucky. Okay. Then we're going to prepare our lining to come down. Now, as you'll recall in the pattern, the lining is cut to the finished line of your external jacket. So when we use just a 1/2 of an inch allowance of the lining and we bring it to the 1/2 inch line on our hem, like so, you will see 1.5 inches of your wool, and you'll have extra length in lining. So that's so when you're moving in the jacket, the lining doesn't seize up and cause puckers on the outside of your jacket. So we have to accommodate that tuck here on this, where we start our hem, right on the facing edge. So we turn under the 1/2 inch and pin it in place. Turn under this 1/2 inch down at the bottom edge, and you're going to bring that up to a 1/2 inch from the top. So this is 1.5 inches. So I've got this folded under a 1/2 inch, and it's at the 1/2 inch line on my hem. So that's going to be the bottom. And here's my extra right here. So I'm just going to fold that and stack it right on top, just like so. Okay, so I've got the double fold right here, and you can see my extra allowance there for the tuck. And I'll secure this down this length only and catch that tuck at this point. And then beyond that, we're just going to do the 1/2 inch. And we'll do all this with slip stitch. Again, because it's invisible, so reach inside with your needle so that you can come in to the fold. Let me shorten that a little bit. Going backwards. Okay. So again, go straight down into the facing. I'm not catching the face of my coat at all. I'm catching the facing and my lining. Okay? So go straight down, come up, grab the fold very closely there, go down again. And these stitches are about every 1/4 inch. And it's a quick job going down here. If your needle doesn't fight you. Okay, so catch the fold, go straight back into the facing, catch the fold. And when I get down here, I want to be sure that I catch both folds of my tuck. So I line them up so that when I go down in here and I come up, I'm coming up through 4 ply. And it just takes a couple stitches in here to anchor this tuck, and you'll be fine. Do a couple stitches down at the end, and then come out along the hem. I'm going to take some of these pins out of here. Okay. So this is secured along this edge, and my tuck is secured. But now I want to be sure that I only fold under a 1/2, and I line it up at that 1.5 inch from the finished edge. So I can go and pin this all the way around, matching my seam lines. Sometimes you have a little excess fullness, you want to be sure and just ease that in. But be sure that as you go around, you're only taking up a 1/2 inch of your lining, because you want that extra length to be in there for comfort in wearing. All right, so at this point, I can continue across my hem. Catching my fold. And now I'm going to be going into the hem allowance only, again, not into the jacket. The hem is already hemmed up to the jacket, so it's secure, and my lining won't drop out because it's only really got an extra inch of length. But with my hem secured to the jacket, it holds it in place. So you continue this slip stitch all the way across to the other side of your jacket, and your closed lining on your tailored jacket is finished. Okay, that's it. Thank you.